Welcome back, guys, to part 2 of Beatroots. I'm here with Mr. Ryan and his track Florescence. This time we're going to be talking about...
We're going to check out the bass and then a little bit of kind of guitar, strings, sound effects action. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
So let's hop into the stem file real quick and listen to those elements. Alright, let's take the bass real quick
there it
here.
is, yeah. It's a nice kind of juicy fat bass. I knew that it needed that because for a little part of the beginning it's just kind of that you know, drum and guitar, piano thing going on, and I needed some like really just nice bass to come in, so this really filled that frequency range, I think, nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, and we got these strings and other stuff?
Yeah, so this stem is mostly like strings, like violins, and guitar stuff, so strings in general. And there's also some like whooshes and like energy swells and stuff like that, so that's kind of that one. And those just really add some nice kind of texture and context and everything, for sure, yeah.
Dope, and let's hear the two together. Yeah, definitely complement each other.
Yeah, they're nice.
So let's hop into the project file one more time and dig deeper.
Cool. So I knew that when I found that like kind of cool kick pattern and like the fat kick, I knew I wanted a bass that just really it wasn't too big, but it really was like juicy and filled everything up. And I feel like I was pretty fortunate to find this one. Sometimes those things you search for hours and you never find it, but I felt like I was pretty lucky with this one. It's like I said, it's a little juicy. It's like a little bit of that kind of like those the top little nuggets right there, just right at the top. You know, sprinkling that nice stuff,
little
you know.
Sprinkles.
Exactly. So let's see. We got this top one is just the kind of the high-endy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
More like mid, like high mids kind of thing.
Okay.
And then this one is more of that kind of like the sub, you know, that sub kind of low stuff. So
right.
Yeah, you know, and I like layering those basses, so that way, you know, there's your responsibilities are kind of divvied up like that.
Yeah, it creates definitely like a full sound.
Exactly. So with basses and kicks and guitars, just everything, I love to layer. I love layering stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And how do you go about choosing what types of sounds you want to layer? Like for the bass.
Yeah, no, it depends. It's the track, you know. It depends what the goal is and what you're trying to go for. But the real answer is it's literally different every time. And honestly, sometimes I don't find it. Like I don't find the one that I want because Omnisphere alone is like, I mean, it's like hundreds and hundreds of patches. So it's like I know what I want to hear, and I'm not the best at like creating synths from scratch. Like a lot of people can like run Massive and just like create their own stuff, and I've never been too into that, so I kind of just have to try my best to find it. And you know, sometimes I get really close and sometimes I find it, and this one I was like, oh, this is like perfect. So it's kind of what it comes down to for me.
Are these the same bass that you've layered twice and just EQ differently?
Oh, let's check it out. That's a great question. I think they are because they have like a similar kind of quality to them.
EQ'd.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
For sure. And yeah, that I think I found it. Once again, this is a couple years ago, so you know, I was probably messing around and found this one. I was like, that sounds so good. I'm just gonna EQ it out and kind of mess around. I also added, I think this one like has like an amp on it, just to kind of add a little more like girth to that low end. So
right.
Yeah. All
cool,
right.
Man. Why don't we take a listen to? We got the strings now.
Some of the string stuff,
some of the FX.
Yeah. So I got some guitars here that are really kind of subtly layered in. I love layering guitars, just very subtly, just really. I think I probably haven't panned. I do that all the time. Yeah, I usually hard pan like the guitars. I just love having them like widen up the stereo kind of image.
Yeah, you can definitely hear them separated really nicely.
And it's not always the case, but I like to kind of make them work off each other sometimes, so it almost kind of feels like a delay where it's like do-da-do-da, you know, something a little bit like that. But I try to make that like, you know, make it in kind of, you know, not with a delay, but with the actual part. Okay. So, you know, that one's...
We got the guitars. We also got the strings that you did in MIDI.
Yeah. So let's solo those bad boys out. So we got some strings here. Nothing too crazy going on with the strings, just like 3 of them. This one starts a little earlier than the other ones. It's got just like a nice, it's riding. I forget what key we're in, but it's just kind of riding, probably like the root or something like that. Just really just keeping that rhythm going and filling up that frequency kind of range. And let's go in a little bit too. This one is a little more of the riffy, I guess.
Yeah, you know, really urban, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Complements the keys that we were looking at earlier.
And this is that end of the tune too, where it gets a little intense and things are kind of climax. So you want to like bring in this stuff and add this stuff, and this is more of the kind of vocal-ish or kind of melodic string part solo for a second. Kind of fill that out a little bit.
Nice.
So this fills in all the in-between parts of the other ones, you know.
Yeah, those strings really sound amazing together.
Yeah. Oh, Spitfire, man. They just You know, they're just great.
Spitfire
That's
sounds
Spitfire
genuine.
Albion 1. Yeah, it's just
Okay.
it's great kind of intro sample library for strings. A little high end. It's not like it's not like $50. It's like, you know, a little pricey, but it's so worth it because they just sound really, really good.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, they definitely sound authentic. Last thing
That's
we're
it.
going to look at are the effects.
Yeah. Some of the quick effects here. Nothing. This is sometimes the longest part, honestly, but this one it ended up not being too crazy. You know, little kind of just like energy swells. You know, things like that. And I think I have pretty much the same one actually over here, and then this guy is probably just like a large hit. Or not,
Yeah.
that was nice. That was actually like a nice little. That's Omnis for you. Oh, see, I EQ'd out that one just to make it so it wasn't like boom. It was more like that kind of just low end stuff. And last but not least, I usually try to add some kind of vocal element. And this one right here is literally me just doing like some, just like shushes and whispering kind of thing.
Right.
And I added the space designer over here. And I did a cool little trick where I crank the length up and I do all wet and no dry, and it makes it almost like a kind of a really airy, kind of like windy almost kind of effect. And that's just
Okay,
really,
that's really
really,
interesting.
really subtly in there, dude. Just to
Yeah.
like add a little bit of that human element. I'm a big fan of having human stuff in all my tracks, whether
Wow.
even if nothing else at all, I could just like have me in the background, like, or even just recording the air sometimes, like just
Yeah.
getting something human in there, because if you have everything MIDI and electronic, it's gonna not be real. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be, but I prefer to have something like that. So
Yeah,
is literally
this
just
definitely
me.
adds that like organic type element to it.
Yeah, it's literally me just like whispering a little bit and then adding some like kind of crazy reverb stuff. Yeah.
Amazing. Ryan, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks for a new episode of Beatroots.